This is the voice of the Lord, your God, my beloved child. Listen carefully if you trust in God. Type Amen. This moment is not an accident. It's not a coincidence that your heart led you here. Something in the atmosphere has shifted, something in the spiritual realm has stirred. Heaven has been holding back a sacred truth, waiting for you to be still enough, open enough, ready enough, and now, the time has come. A voice, the voice of someone you once held close, someone who loved you deeply, someone who is no longer in this world, has just echoed through heaven's halls. And the name they called was yours. It wasn't a whisper. It wasn't soft. It was loud, bold, urgent. They cried out your name because something in their soul still aches to reach you. And when they spoke, Archangel Michael heard it. And tears filled his eyes. Michael is not an angel who cries easily. He is the warrior of heaven, the protector, the one sent to shield the chosen from unseen harm. But when your name was shouted through the clouds by the one who passed on, the emotion was too strong, the love too raw, the pain too honest. He wept. Because he saw what that soul still carries. He saw how much of their heart is still with you. And now, he has been sent. Not with a warning, but with a message soaked in love. A divine delivery. A heavenly permission slip that says, they need to hear it now. They've waited long enough. Let them know the truth. God speaks softly in this moment, not with thunder, but with tenderness. My child, there is someone on the other side who still loves you deeply. They have tried to send signs. They have whispered into your dreams. They've shown up in moments when your spirit suddenly felt overwhelmed. That wasn't your imagination. That was permission. I allowed them to speak through time. Because their heart is not at peace until you know, they never left you. Yes, they left the earth. But they did not leave you. And right now, through the veil of heaven, they are reaching again. Their soul has been watching the silent nights you cried into your pillow. The days you smiled while your heart quietly shattered. The moments you felt completely alone even in a room full of people. And every time your spirit broke, they saw it. They wanted to hold you again. To comfort you. To say what they couldn't say before they left. But they couldn't. Not until now. Now heaven has opened the door. And they are standing behind it. Reaching. Whispering. Begging. Please tell them I'm still here. Please tell them I never meant to leave like that. Please tell them my love is not buried. It's alive. Michael heard it. He dropped to his knees. Because the pain in that soul's voice was too sacred to ignore. He wept because he saw how connected your destinies still are. And he knows what you don't, that this message will break a chain you didn't even know you were carrying. The chain of unfinished goodbyes. The chain of guilt. The chain of unanswered questions. The chain of wondering if they knew how much you loved them. And now, the answer is clear. They knew. They still know. They remember the laughter. The late-night talks. The ordinary moments that became holy simply because they were shared with you. They remember your eyes. Your voice. Your kindness. And they have been asking heaven for one chance to say what they left unsaid. That's why Michael is here. That's why this message found you. Not to scare you. Not to make you mourn again. But to deliver a truth soaked in eternal light. They still love you. They still see you. They're still protecting you. And God says, this moment has been written in my book. This is not just a message, it is a bridge between two worlds. What was torn apart by death is being reconnected by my mercy. Let it heal you. This is only the beginning. They have more to say. And Michael has more to reveal. Your name didn't just echo in heaven by chance. It was shouted from the depths of a soul that still aches with love. It wasn't out of fear. It wasn't desperation. It was pure longing. It was a cry born from a heart that once beat beside yours in time and memory. The person who passed, the one whose loss still stings in the quiet hours of your night, just cried your name again before God. And when they spoke, it wasn't pain they carried, it was purpose. Their voice didn't tremble with fear. It shook with urgency. Because they know what's happening around you. They see what your natural eyes cannot. And they couldn't stay silent any longer. Archangel Michael heard that cry. He dropped his sword. He stood still. And heaven grew quiet. Because that name, your name, carried weight. It carried history. It carried unfinished moments. It carried the kind of love that even eternity respects. And when Michael cried, he wasn't crying because he was weak, he was crying because he felt it. He felt the bond that still ties you and that soul together. A bond not even death could destroy. And now, heaven is leaning in. The atmosphere around you is changing. Because a divine intersection has been created. A place between then and now, between past and future, between the seen and the unseen, just for you. A sacred moment where love speaks louder than loss. Where God opens a space for the voice you've missed most to reach you clearly. God says, "My beloved child, I saw your tears. I heard the way you whispered their name in silence when no one else was listening. I saw you carry their memory like a treasure and a burden at the same time. And I want you to know, they heard you. Every word. Every prayer. Every "I miss you." They weren't lost in the wind. They were carried to me. And I allowed their soul to hold them. That's why they're speaking now. Because it's time. And the one who passed? They're not here to bring sadness. They're not here to pull you into the past. They're here to remind you that their presence never left. You have felt it, in the way the air shifted in a quiet room. In the way a certain song played exactly when you needed it. In the way you caught the scent of something familiar that shouldn't have been there. You doubted yourself. You questioned if you were just being emotional. But no. That was them. Reaching. Touching. Reminding. Loving. They've watched you become stronger even while you felt weaker. They've seen the battles you didn't talk about. They've cried with you when no one saw. And they have cheered for you in moments where you thought no one cared. That's why they're speaking now. Because they want you to know, you were never alone. They say, you've done more than you think. You've survived more than you admit. You've carried grief and still managed to create beauty. And I'm proud of you. I know life hasn't been fair. I know it took things from you that you didn't deserve to lose. But I also know you never let go of me. You kept loving me. And now, I am here, loving you back from beyond. Michael says, I have been given charge over this moment. To protect this message. To clear the airwaves between heaven and earth so you can hear what needs to be heard. This is not fiction. This is not fantasy. This is spiritual truth wrapped in eternal love. And now the one you loved, the one who has waited patiently in heaven's halls, stands right beside Michael. They are holding your name close to their chest. They are praying over you with fire in their soul. They are asking God to lift the burden off your shoulders. To replace sorrow with strength. To give you a sign that can't be ignored. They say, please, don't give up. I didn't get to say it back then, but I'm saying it now. You were the light in my life. You were the comfort in my chaos. And even though I've crossed over, you still carry my heart. God responds, and that love is not lost. It is not buried. It is being poured over you even now. Let it heal you. Let it free you. Let it lift your spirit higher than the pain ever took you down. This is not a goodbye. This is a continuation. Their love lives on, and so does your connection. This message isn't just closure. It's a new chapter. A new understanding. A spiritual reconciliation. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are divinely remembered. Deeply loved. Eternally covered. And Michael, still crying but now rising in strength, lifts his sword once more, not to fight, but to break open the heavens and let more love flow down. Because this is your moment. A moment your soul has longed for. And now that it's here, don't run from it. Receive it. The moment your heart broke into pieces, they saw it. When no one else knew the weight you carried, they knew. When you sat in silence, staring at nothing, wondering why the world felt empty without them, they were right there. You didn't see them. But your soul did. It's why you felt that sudden warmth. That flicker in the air. That invisible comfort that made no sense, yet brought you peace. It was them. The one you loved so deeply. The one who left too soon. The one who still carries your name like a prayer in heaven. They never meant to leave you with questions. They never wanted you to feel like their love had an expiration date. And now, by the mercy of God, heaven has allowed them to say what they couldn't say before their time ended. They're not reaching through anger. They're reaching through love. Love that never died. Love that still flows between dimensions. Love that still lights up whenever they look at you from eternity. They've been trying to speak. Through dreams you half remember. Through moments of déjà vu that felt too emotional to explain. Through songs that hit too hard, too perfect, too timed to be random. And every time, they hoped you'd recognize it. They hoped your soul would know, it's me. I'm still here. I see you. I love you. God says, I held them close after they crossed over. I comforted their regrets. I walked them into light. But there was one thing they kept holding, your name. And so I gave them this moment. I opened a window. Because I love you too much to let you carry the grief alone. This is not just their message. This is my message through them. You have not been forgotten. They speak now, not with sadness, but with passion. They say, I saw the way you kept living when it would have been easier to stop. I saw how you kept smiling for others when your own soul was collapsing. I saw you keep my memory alive with candles, with whispered prayers, with silent pain. And I need you to know, it reached me. I felt it. I still feel it. And Michael, standing beside them, holds a scroll with your name. A heavenly scroll. One that carries the prayers you've cried when no one was around. One that records the nights you broke down and asked God, do they still hear me? Are they okay? Do they know how much I miss them? The answer is yes. Yes. 1,000 times, yes. They've watched you battle loneliness like a soldier of light. They've seen how your strength inspired others, even while your own spirit was begging for comfort. And now, they've come to speak because they know, you need to hear this. Not just for closure, but for healing. for power, for peace. They say, please don't carry my absence as a punishment. Please don't let the pain of my loss become the prison of your joy. I want you to live again. Fully. Laugh again. Deeply. Breathe again, without guilt. You've carried too much. And they see it. That's why they're crying out now. Not because they're in pain, but because you are. And they want you to let go of the guilt, the regret, the wondering, the what-ifs. Because none of it changes the truth that you were loved, deeply, fully, forever. Even now. God speaks again, you have mourned in silence long enough. You have survived the storms. But now, I want you to feel again. To open again. To hope again. That's why I've allowed this moment. That's why I've allowed their voice to be carried by my angel. Because your healing matters to me. Michael steps forward. His voice firm, but tender, you are not forgotten. Heaven has been watching. Every tear has been counted. Every ache has been seen. And today, love has broken through the silence. This is not a sign to dwell in the past. This is a sacred permission to rise. To take their memory and let it fuel your future, not chain you to yesterday. They don't want you to sit in sorrow. They want you to dance in healing. To feel their love not as a loss, but as a light. They say, you don't need to prove anything to me. I already knew your heart. You don't need to wonder if I knew you loved me, I did. I still do. And I want you to love yourself now. Because you deserve that. This is not imagination. This is not a fantasy. This is spiritual reality. The moment you finish reading this, you'll notice something. The atmosphere will feel different. The heaviness will lift. The stillness will speak. That's them. That's love. That's heaven touching earth, for you. They never planned to leave in silence. They never imagined that their last breath would leave you with so many questions, with so many feelings buried in the corners of your heart where no one else looks. They thought they'd have more time. More days. More laughter. More love shared across the kitchen table. More moments to tell you how proud they were of you. How deeply they saw your worth. How much they noticed your quiet sacrifices, your soft strength, your beautiful soul. But time didn't wait. Life moved too fast. And now, their spirit stands in a place where time cannot take them from you again. They've waited patiently in the halls of heaven for this opening. Not to speak from regret, but from eternal clarity. Because now they see it all. Every tear you never cried in public. Every time you smiled to protect others from your pain. Every time you spoke their name in a whisper so soft only God could hear. Every birthday you spent missing their voice. Every night you curled under the covers wishing for just one more conversation. And they carried all of that, all of you, straight to the feet of God. And God received it with tenderness. He didn't dismiss your grief. He didn't silence your questions. Instead, he said, let them speak. Let love speak. Let the one who left too soon say what they've held in their heart from the moment they arrived in my light. They've been waiting to say this to you. I never meant to leave without saying goodbye. I never wanted to disappear from your story. I wanted to stay and watch you grow into the person I always knew you could be. But even though I'm gone from the earth, I've never been gone from your life. I've watched you. Every single day. I've seen the strength you didn't know you had. I've seen the choices you made when no one else gave you credit. I've seen the prayers you whispered when you thought no one was listening. And I was listening. I always have been. Michael, standing like a flame beside them, speaks next. Your name carries a sound in heaven. It is spoken with reverence. It is carried by angels. And this soul, the one you loved, they have spoken it with such love that even the wind bends to listen. This isn't a message for your ears. This is a message for your heart. A message that bypasses logic and dives into memory. A message that brings light into your shadows. Because the person you lost never stopped loving you. And that love? It's being poured over you now like rain on a dry soul. Let it soak in. Let it reach the broken places. Let it remind you, they were never far. Just unseen. Just waiting. Just loving you from a higher place. They say, I saw the moments when your heart shattered, and you told no one. I saw you smile and laugh just to keep others from worrying. I saw you fold your hands at night and ask God to send you a sign that I'm still with you. This is that sign. This is the answer. I'm here. I've always been here. And God says, your prayers reached me. Your tears were not wasted. I stored them in a bottle. I listened when you cried out for connection, for comfort, for confirmation. That's why I've opened this door. Because the love between your soul and theirs is too sacred to be ignored any longer. Michael steps forward with a heavenly scroll. On it is written not a warning, but a blessing. A prophetic release of peace. Of truth. Of soul-deep healing. He lays it at your feet and says, read this not with your eyes, but with your spirit. What is written here is eternal. This is the part of their heart they never got to show you. And now, heaven has revealed it. They say, please let go of the guilt. Let go of the what-ifs. Let go of the things you couldn't say in time. I never blamed you. I never needed perfection from you. I only needed love. And you gave me that. More than enough. More than I deserved. I carry that with me. Even here. Especially here. And suddenly, as you absorb these words, something begins to lift off of you. That tightness in your chest. That weight on your shoulders. That unspoken sorrow you thought you'd always have to carry. It begins to break. Because now, the truth is setting you free. You were never forgotten. You were never left without love. You were simply waiting for the moment when heaven would allow the message to come through. That moment is now. You keep wondering if they knew how much you loved them. If they understood, truly, just how deeply your soul was tied to theirs. If they ever felt how your spirit reached for them in every goodbye, in every memory, in every quiet moment that now echoes louder because of their absence. And heaven responds today, they knew. They know. They always have. There wasn't a single second when your love didn't reach them. Not one moment when your voice wasn't heard. Even in the end, when their body faded and their eyes closed, their soul was still wide awake. And the last thing they held onto in the spiritual realm was you. They said your name. Not with fear. Not with regret. But with peace. With love. With the kind of clarity that only eternity can bring. They saw the timeline of your life stretch out in light, and they asked God for one thing: let me cover them. Let me walk with them in spirit. Let me protect them in the places I can no longer go physically. And God, full of mercy and honor, answered, yes, you may. But one day, I will also let you speak to them. I will deliver your words when they're ready to receive them. That day is now. That moment is this. That message is this one. You've felt them. In dreams that made you wake up weeping. In sudden memories that crashed into your heart when you least expected them. In quiet hours when the world was still but your soul was stirring. That wasn't your imagination. That was them. Reaching through the veil. Asking heaven to let them touch your life one more time. And now heaven has opened that window. Archangel Michael has stepped forward with holy fire in his voice and compassion in his wings and said, deliver this now. The child is ready. The soul is open. Let healing flow like never before. If you believe in God, type Amen or 444 or 555 or 000 111. Subscribe for more videos.